So going to New York, the sounds of New York are very different. Do you think the composers in New York compose according to these different sounds in their head?
Yes, very much. When I lived in Brooklyn, the typical sound, because I lived 2.5 blocks from a fire department. And on a very busy street. And so every day, I'm not exaggerating, it's average 5 minutes per fire truck and sirens, blasting out from my window. And my apartment window is not very solidly put together, so it's very noisy. Yeah, and I can even see, and it's so narrow and so crowded. So I think from even I was reacting in my music more like a noisy way, because I was just reflecting the environment I was in. Because I need to kind of get the noisy feeling out of my system.
So here you are in New York. You're a Chinese woman in New York. Did you get any stereotypes? People thought you must be a certain kind of person or a certain kind of musician because you're Chinese. Did you have any people who had sort of simplistic ideas about who you were or what your music should have been like?
I mean, musicians in New York, I mean?
Or just people, just not even necessarily musicians, but just people who you met, or maybe other musicians.
I haven't found that much, because I guess there's just so much going on in New York, and they're used to seeing new things.
People of all different ethnic groups. And
I mean, in my building, and I had like people from everywhere in the whole world. Every apartment is from a different country.
Was there anything about the educational system you felt difficulty in adapting to in the musical educational system? Something that was different than because you were trained in the Chinese academy. So was it different studying in New York?
Not so much. I didn't really study in New York. When I moved to New York, I already started my performing career. But in the States, not very difficult, because I studied Western tradition, classical music too. So it's just whether it was a Russian system or a French system versus a German system. But when it comes to music notes, they're the same.
We talked a lot about improvisation, jazz, and your own music. I'm very curious to hear how you would go about just doing something completely, as we say, off the cuff or on the fly or whatever you say, just a completely free improvised piece on the guzheng. Would you mind? And in fact, let's go out on this segment at the end with you just performing a totally free. I don't know. Should we call it jazz or
no? Just free improv. I don't even know how to label it, because jazz musicians they don't know if that's jazz.
Right. So Wu Fei is going to play a totally improvised piece. She's never played it before. She's never rehearsed it on the guzheng, and we'll just see how it goes. Okay? So take it away.